Feeling nervous and anxious about certain situations can be completely normal and healthy. However, if these worries interfere with your daily life, then you may have an anxiety disorder. A fun fact that I learned growing up is that nearly 1 in 5 adults in the United States actually have anxiety disorders. Michelle Kraske and Kathy Cresswell are both highly knowledgeable in this topic, along with others who I will reference throughout this speech. Michelle Kraske has her PhD and is a professor in the Department of Psychology at UCLA and specializes in anxiety and depression. Kathy Cresswell is a psychologist and a professor in developmental clinical psychology at the University of Oxford and specializes in anxiety disorders. Many people will experience an anxiety disorder in their lifetime. Today I will explain to you what an anxiety disorder is, the different types of them, and the symptoms and treatments associated with them. First, let's start by defining what anxiety is. According to Michelle Kraske and others, in 2009, they defined anxiety using Barlow's concepts, which states that anxiety is a future-oriented state of mind associated with the preparation of upcoming negative events. The same article states that human anxiety is similar to the animal predatory imminence continuum, which states that anxiety corresponds to the animal's state in a potential predatory attack. A biography, Types of Anxieties, published in 2002, describes anxiety as a chronic and amplified panic or tension, even though nothing seems to cause it. Based on that same biography, people with GAD can't seem to shake their worries, even though half the time they realize that the anxiety is much worse than the actual situation. GAD may be diagnosed as someone who has spent at least 6 months exceedingly worrying about a number of everyday issues, according to the biography Types of Anxiety Disorders, published in 2002. Kathy Cresswell and others in 2020 wrote an article that stated the most prevalent mental health disorder in children and young people is actually anxiety disorders. In addition to that, Dan Stein and others published in 2021 an article that estimated nearly 3.7 people will experience GAD in their lifetime. Now that you know what anxiety is, let's look at the different types of anxiety. Kathy Cresswell and others do a great job explaining the different types of anxiety disorders that we are going to cover in their article that was published in 2020 called Practitioner Review. First is an excessive fear of separation from key caregivers, which is called separation anxiety. This is an anxiety that is common in young children. Specific phobia is a marked fear or anxiety about certain situations or certain objects that always induce immediate fear or anxiety. A marked fear or anxiety about social situations where a person may be exposed to the possibility of scrutiny by others, and the fear that they may act or show anxiety that will be taken negatively is called social anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder, which is what we've already discussed, is exceedingly and uncontrollably worrying about a number of events included with symptoms. These symptoms may include muscle tension, trouble focusing, sleeping issues, and many more. A panic disorder is a recurrent, unannounced panic attack that arises from a particular situation and concern of a future attack. A fear or anxiety about 2 or more of these situations, using public transport, being in enclosed spaces, being in open spaces, being outside of the home alone, or being in a line or crowd is called agoraphobia. The constant failure to speak at social settings where there are expectations being held is called selective mutism. All of these definitions and different types of anxiety disorders come from Kathy Cresswell and others in an article published in 2020 called Practitioner Review. Finally, now that you know what anxiety is and the different types of anxiety disorders, let's talk about the symptoms and treatments associated with it. According to a biography published in 2002 called Types of Anxiety Disorders, some symptoms may include the inability to relax, difficulties falling or staying asleep, or troubles concentrating. Your worries may also be accompanied by physical symptoms, such as headache, irritability, hot flashes, trembling, sweating, muscle tension, twitching, or even lightheadedness, according to that same biography. Panic attacks, however, may make your heart start pounding, and you may get sweaty, weak, faint, or even dizzy. Your body might feel tingly or numb, and you could feel flushed or chilled based on the types of anxiety disorder biography from 2002. However, with phobias, you may just freeze up, or you could even get a sense of hyperventilating and sweating. Kathy Creswell and others who wrote the article Practitioner Review in 2020 go into the different types of treatments associated with this disorder. Cognitive behavior therapy is the most frequently suggested treatment for anxiety disorders, which typically involves the practice of exposing people to confront the situations that they fear or get anxiety about. This helps them develop a new learning of what really happens when they enter those situations. In addition, some programs may offer lessons such as relaxation, social skills, and problem-solving training based on the article Kathy Creswell and others published in 2020. The overall response rate of CBT is 59.4%, which shows clear benefits. Some other existing evidence show that some pharmacological treatments, such as medication, can provide similar effects as psychological treatments in the short term. They found that 58.1% of people respond to antidepressant medication compared with placebo medication, which only had a remission rate of 31.5%, all according to Kathy Creswell and the others who published the article Practitioner Review in 2020. In conclusion, many people will experience an anxiety disorder in their lifetime. In fact, 1 in 5 people will. Because of that, today I was happy to inform you on what anxiety is, the different types of anxiety, and the symptoms and treatments associated with it. If you are experiencing this, do not feel alone because many people are right by your side.
Okay.